Ladies and gentlemen, but especially to every woman who carries storms in her heart and still walks with grace, today's message is for you. Life has a unique way of testing the strongest people the hardest, and the world often believes that a powerful woman, a confident woman, a successful woman has everything under control. But remember this truth: even the strongest trees need deep roots to stand tall. A powerful woman isn't powerful because life has been easy. She's powerful because she has risen again and again, even when nobody saw her fall. And today, I want to give you the reality check you truly deserve. Not the harsh kind, not the discouraging kind, but the awakening kind that reminds you of who you are and who you are meant to become. There is a common misunderstanding in society that a strong woman must always be strong, that she must constantly have everything figured out, that she cannot bend, she cannot break, she cannot show emotions, and she cannot let others see her struggle. But the truth is completely different. Strength was never meant to be a mask, a burden, or a performance. Strength is a journey, not a costume you wear every day. And just because you have the ability to carry heavy responsibilities does not mean you are not allowed to rest your shoulders. Think about something simple. A mobile phone is one of the most powerful tools we own. It can do thousands of things at once. Take pictures, connect across continents, store memories, provide knowledge, manage work, and entertain us. Yet even the most advanced phone becomes useless if its battery is drained. It doesn't matter how brilliant, how expensive, or how advanced it is. When the battery dies, it needs to be plugged in and recharged. Nobody judges it. Nobody says, "Why did you get tired?" We simply plug it in. But when a powerful woman feels drained, she often refuses to recharge. She tells herself, "I should be stronger. I can't slow down. Everyone depends on me." She forgets that she too needs a charging point, a moment of silence, a break, a breath, a little space to feel human again. In daily life, you may be the one solving everyone's problems. You may be the one people look up to. You may be the one who keeps the home running, manages work, supports the family, comforts friends, and still shows up with a smile. And because you carry all of this so gracefully, others assume you do not feel the weight. They think you are made of steel. But inside, you are a human being with emotions, vulnerabilities, and limits. Just because you don't collapse in public doesn't mean you are not tired in private. A mother who wakes up before everyone else, prepares breakfast, gets the children ready, goes to work, manages responsibilities, and still comes home to more work, she is powerful. But some evenings, she just sits in silence for a few minutes with her head down, not because she is weak, but because she has given so much of herself that day. She needs those few minutes to breathe. That is not weakness. That is sacred strength. A working woman trying to balance career and relationships often feels like she is running a marathon nobody else understands. Her coworkers see the confident, efficient, reliable version of her. But they do not see the nights she lies awake questioning herself. They do not see the pressure she places on her own heart. They do not see the emotional load she carries silently. And the reason they don't see it is because she hides it, not out of fear, but out of habit. She believes strength means silence. But real strength comes when you allow yourself room to rest. Even nature teaches us this. The sun, the most powerful source of energy, does not shine all 24 hours. It rises, it shines, it sets. And nobody calls it weak when it disappears in the evening. The moon goes through phases, sometimes full, sometimes half, sometimes barely visible. And yet, it never loses its identity. The ocean has tides, high and low. The seasons change. Everything in the universe rests, renews, slows down, and rises again. If the entire universe is allowed to recharge, why not you? There will be days when your thoughts feel heavy. Days when you feel like crying for no clear reason. Days when you don't want to talk to anyone. Days when you don't feel like being strong. And on those days, instead of forcing yourself to pretend, choose gentleness. Allow yourself to rest without guilt. Allow yourself to say, today, I need a break. Allow yourself to be honest. Because pretending to be strong drains you faster than accepting your own emotions. A truly powerful woman is not one who never breaks. She is one who knows how to rebuild herself. She knows how to take pauses. She knows how to heal. Asking for help does not make you weak. Taking a break does not make you irresponsible. Crying does not make you fragile. These things simply make you human, and humanity is not the opposite of strength. It is the foundation of it. You do not need to prove your strength every day. You do not need to explain your tiredness. You do not need to apologize for needing emotional space. The people who truly value you will understand that even the strongest hearts need rest. And those who don't understand were never meant to define your worth in the first place. So the next time your mind whispers, you need to be strong, answer gently, I am strong. That's why I'm taking care of myself. Strength does not come from constantly standing tall. It comes from learning how to sit down when necessary, how to breathe through difficulty, and how to rise again with more clarity. Just like the phone needs charging, the heart needs peace. Just like the sun needs to set, you need moments of quiet. Just like flowers close at night, your soul needs time to reset. Never feel guilty for resting. Never feel ashamed of your emotions. Never feel pressure to be unbreakable. You are allowed to be powerful and tired at the same time. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to feel. You are allowed to let the weight fall for a moment. And when you rise again, because you always will, you will rise with more light, more wisdom, and more strength than ever before. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she must understand this truth deeply. Your worth is not something another person can decide. It does not rise when someone praises you, and it does not fall when someone criticizes you. Yet, many powerful women unknowingly hand control of their self-worth to the world. They let comments, judgments, opinions, and expectations define how they feel. But just like a diamond does not lose its value because one person fails to recognize its shine, you do not lose your worth because someone else fails to appreciate it. Think about a situation many women face. You walk into a workplace where you give your best every day. You work hard, stay late, meet deadlines, support colleagues, and carry responsibilities with grace. And yet, someone might say, she's not doing enough, or she only got that position because she's lucky, or she's too confident. Suddenly, despite all the effort, their words begin to echo in your mind. You start asking yourself questions that were never yours to ask. Am I really good enough? Do they think I don't deserve this? Should I shrink a little to avoid being judged? But pause for a moment and ask yourself, why are you giving so much power to people who haven't walked a single mile in your shoes? Remember, people judge from the outside because they cannot see your inside. They don't know the nights you stayed up working. They don't know the sacrifices you made. They don't know the fears you conquered. They don't know the responsibilities you balance. They only see the result, never the process. And still, they feel entitled to form opinions about you. That is the nature of the world, but their noise should never shape your identity. Imagine a woman who decides to step into self-improvement. She starts going to the gym, reading books, learning new skills, and investing in her growth. Suddenly, some people around her feel uncomfortable, not because she is doing anything wrong, but because her growth is reminding them of their stagnation. They may say, "Why are you changing so much?" Or, "You're acting different," or, "Don't forget where you came from." But the truth is, they are not questioning you, they are questioning themselves. Your progress triggers their insecurities. Your confidence exposes their doubts. Your journey makes them evaluate their own life, and instead of improving themselves, some choose to criticize you. So tell me, should you stop growing because someone else refuses to grow? Your worth should never be based on outside approval. If someone praises you today and criticizes you tomorrow, does that change who you are? No. It only reveals how unpredictable people can be. A woman rooted in self-worth becomes unshakable because her value comes from within, from her character, her effort, her heart, her kindness, her discipline, and her courage. Think about social media. Many women post something and immediately check how many likes they received. A picture with more likes feels good, and a picture with fewer likes makes them doubt themselves. But does the number on a screen define your beauty, your intelligence, your heart, your personality? Absolutely not. It only reflects people's momentary attention, not your actual worth. Yet so many women unknowingly allow these tiny metrics to shape big emotions. If a flower blooms in a forest where no one is watching, does it stop being beautiful? No. Its beauty is not dependent on an audience. Your worth isn't either. Consider a simple example from daily life. You buy a branded handbag. Whether you use it often or keep it in your closet, the brand doesn't change. The value stays the same because its worth is inherent. Now imagine if a stranger walks by and says, "This bag looks cheap." Would the company immediately reduce its price? No, because they know the effort, material, craftsmanship, and brand reputation behind it. Similarly, your inner design, your values, your effort, your resilience, your experience is what sets your worth. How can someone who doesn't know your story decide your value? There will always be people who misunderstand you. There will always be people who question your choices. There will always be people who feel threatened by your strength, uncomfortable with your confidence, or insecure about your progress. But that has nothing to do with who you are and everything to do with who they are. Do not take ownership of someone else's insecurity. Do not shrink to make someone else feel tall. Do not dim your light just because someone else complains it is too bright. You deserve to stand tall in your identity. You deserve to walk with confidence, not arrogance, but quiet, powerful self-respect. You deserve to speak your truth without fear of judgment. You deserve to make decisions without seeking unnecessary approval. You deserve to be seen, heard, and valued. But most importantly, you deserve to value yourself first. When a woman knows her worth, she becomes magnetic. She no longer tries to prove herself. She no longer explains her decisions to people who do not deserve explanations. She no longer lets small minds discourage her big dreams. She walks with clarity, she chooses with intention, and she protects her peace like a queen guards her crown. Always remember this: the world can only try to define you when you haven't defined yourself. But the moment you decide, I am enough, no opinion, good or bad, can shake that truth. You are worthy not because someone said it, but because it is the truth of who you are. Your existence has value. Your journey has meaning. Your presence has purpose. Don't ever forget that. There is a beautiful truth about strength that many people overlook. You can be powerful and gentle at the same time. In fact, the deepest kind of power is often wrapped in quietness, softness, and grace. Society sometimes confuses loudness with confidence and aggression with strength. But real strength does not need to shout. Real confidence does not need to prove itself. Real power does not need to be intimidating. It needs to be steady. Think of water for a moment. It is soft to the touch, smooth, calm, often quiet. Yet water can carve through mountains, shape valleys, and even hold ships afloat. Its gentleness doesn't make it weak. It makes it adaptable, patient, and unstoppable. A powerful woman who chooses kindness over harshness is just like water. She may look calm, but inside her flows a strength that time, challenges, and circumstances cannot break. In everyday life, you meet women who carry this gentle power. They don't dominate conversations, yet their presence alone brings peace to the room. They don't force their opinions onto others, yet when they speak, people listen. They don't display anger to prove they are strong. Instead, they maintain dignity even in difficult situations. These women remind us that gentleness is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of emotional maturity. Imagine a woman working in a busy office environment. There is pressure, deadlines, competition, and people who sometimes speak harshly. Many would think that to survive in such an environment, she must become aggressive, loud, or pushy. But she doesn't. She remains calm, she speaks respectfully, she maintains her values. And because she doesn't fight every small battle, she has the energy to focus on what truly matters. Over time, people trust her more. They approach her for guidance. They admire her consistency. Her gentleness becomes her power, not her limitation. Or think of a mother who handles her home with quiet strength. She may not raise her voice, but her discipline is firm. She may not display anger, but her values are clear. She may not threaten or shout, yet her children know that her calmness holds more authority than any loud command. Her love is gentle, but her influence is strong. This is the power of a woman who understands that softness and strength can coexist beautifully. Gentleness also shows up in relationships. Many people believe that to avoid being taken advantage of, they must be harsh, guarded, or defensive. But a powerful woman knows that her gentleness is not a weakness someone can exploit. It is a choice she makes because she knows her worth. She doesn't allow disrespect, but she also doesn't choose bitterness as her response. She can express her boundaries without breaking someone's spirit. She can disagree without disrespecting. She can stand her ground without raising her voice. There is wisdom in responding with calmness when others expect anger. It surprises them, it disarms negativity, it raises your own dignity. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is simply not react in the ways people expect. You can say everything you need to say with kindness and clarity, and it carries far more impact than any loud reaction ever could. Think about a common scenario: someone speaks rudely to you. You have two choices: match their energy or maintain your own. Matching their rudeness may feel satisfying for a moment, but it steals your peace, damages your character, and leaves you feeling exhausted later. But if you choose to respond with grace, not silence, not weakness, but calm clarity, you keep your inner world intact. You walk away proud of who you are, not regretful of what you said. That is real strength. Gentleness is also seen in how a powerful woman deals with setbacks. Instead of panicking, she breathes. Instead of blaming, she thinks. Instead of collapsing, she pauses and then moves forward. Her calmness becomes her compass, guiding her through storms that would break others. It is not that she lacks emotions. She feels deeply. But she has learned the art of not letting temporary emotions ruin permanent opportunities. We live in a world where many people act tough because they are scared of being hurt. They build walls around their hearts. They use harshness like armor. But a powerful woman understands something deeper. Vulnerability and softness are part of being human. She doesn't let fear turn her cold. She doesn't let disappointment make her bitter. She stays kind-hearted not because life is easy, but because she refuses to let life harden her. One of the greatest examples of gentle strength is forgiveness. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean excusing someone's behavior. It simply means choosing peace over pain. Only a strong woman can do this. Only someone with emotional courage can let go of what tries to weigh her down. In your daily life, you will meet people who mistake kindness for weakness. That is okay. Let them misunderstand. You don't need their approval. You don't need to harden yourself to impress them. You don't need to be loud to be respected. Keep your gentleness. Guard it. It is one of the rarest qualities in the world. When you are gentle, you are in control, not of others, but of yourself. And that is the highest form of strength. Anyone can be loud, anyone can be aggressive, anyone can fight. But not everyone can maintain their calm, preserve their kindness, and choose grace even when the world tests them. You are at your most powerful when you can balance strength with softness, courage with compassion, firmness with kindness. You are at your most beautiful when your heart remains gentle, even after everything you have been through. That is the kind of strength that inspires. That is the kind of strength that lasts. There comes a stage in every powerful woman's journey when she realizes that not everyone who starts with her will stay with her. This is one of life's most important truths, yet one of the hardest to accept. As you grow, evolve, rise, and transform, life naturally begins to filter the people around you. Some will support you, some will celebrate you, but some will quietly distance themselves, and others may even try to hold you back. This does not mean you are wrong. It means you are growing in ways they are not prepared for. As you elevate your mindset, your habits, your priorities, and your standards, something interesting happens. The world around you begins to rearrange. People who once understood you may no longer relate to the person you are becoming. People who once felt comfortable around you may suddenly feel insecure because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. And people who claim to be close to you may start feeling threatened, confused, or distant, not because you changed for the worse, but because you changed for the better. Imagine a simple example from daily life. You decide to focus on personal growth. You start waking up early, reading inspiring books, taking care of your health, setting boundaries, choosing peace, saying no to drama, and being mindful of your energy. Suddenly, the people who used to gossip with you feel you are boring. The ones who loved discussing negativity feel you have changed. The ones who were comfortable with your old habits feel uncomfortable with your new discipline. And the ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries now feel offended by your strength. This happens not because you did something wrong, but because you are no longer the same version of yourself. You have outgrown the spaces where chaos felt normal. You have outgrown people who kept you small. You have outgrown conversations that drained you. Growth is meant to create distance, not because you stop loving people, but because you start loving yourself enough to choose better. Think of a rocket at the time of launch. In the beginning, it needs boosters attached to its sides. These boosters help it rise from the ground, but once it reaches a certain height, the boosters detach. If they stayed attached, the rocket would never reach space. They are essential for the beginning, but not meant for the entire journey. Similarly, some people come into your life to help you lift off, to help you start your journey. But they are not meant to accompany you to your highest altitude. When life detaches them, it is not a loss, it is alignment. Sometimes people leave because they cannot handle your new boundaries. When you were always available, they praised your kindness. But when you started prioritizing yourself, they called you selfish. When you allowed disrespect, but they thought you were easy. But when you demanded respect, they thought you were difficult. Remember this: people who love your benefits, but not your growth, were never truly for you. Letting them go is not losing them. It is losing your limitations. There are also relationships that feel painful to release. Friends you grew up with, people who were once very close, individuals who shared your old world. But as you evolve, you begin walking a path they cannot understand. You begin having dreams they cannot relate to. You begin having discipline they do not share. This mismatch creates emotional distance. You may try to hold on, but the connection feels stretched. You feel the gap growing, and deep inside, a voice whispers what your heart does not want to accept. Not everyone can go where you're going. Think of a train journey. At every station, some passengers get off. You don't chase them. You don't question why they are leaving. You understand their destination is different. That is how life works too. Some people are meant for a chapter, not the whole book. Their departure does not interrupt your journey. It creates space for new people who align with your future, not your past. One of the most empowering things a woman can learn is to stop fighting for connections that drain her. You don't have to beg to be understood. You don't have to convince anyone to appreciate your growth. You don't have to shrink to make someone else feel comfortable. If someone feels intimidated by your success, let them walk away. If someone feels threatened by your confidence, let them leave. If someone does not clap for you, do not hand them your stage. Your journey is divine. It is personal. It is shaped by your purpose, not by the approval of people who fear change. Life will bring new souls into your path, people who will encourage your growth, respect your boundaries, celebrate your progress, and walk with you, not against you. These are the people your future requires. And here's the irony. The moment you stop clinging to people who are not meant for you, your soul feels lighter, your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes freer, you begin to rise effortlessly because the weight that held you down is gone. One day, you will look back and understand why certain people had to leave. Their absence created space for blessings you could not imagine earlier. And one day, you will be grateful for every goodbye that protected your path. So walk boldly into your future. Release what holds you down. Let go of what no longer aligns. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the journey. Because the truth is powerful. Not everyone can go where you're going. And that is exactly how it is meant to be.